Anders Sundstedt. Welcome to the Theatre Café Webinar.
Thank you.
You're Artistic Director of Akershus Theatre, which is a regional theatre in Norway.
That's true.
Yeah. And as an Artistic Director, I wanted to ask you, what do you look for in a script for young audiences?
Well, it's a big question actually. I'm not sure if I can answer it in a few words, but I will try. First of all, am I entertained? I'm a sucker for entertainment, and I think young audiences sort of deserve to be entertained by what they see, whether it's a relevant topic or not, as in something about, you know, a morality story or a political story, whatever is not so important to start with. I look for does it amuse me? Do I somehow get moved by it? Does it press any new buttons? Does it entertain me in ways that I wasn't aware of when I started reading it? I like to be surprised. I like to be challenged by the construction of the manuscript, and how it actually addresses its audience by choices when it comes to, for instance, the site it's meant for, because we perform in different venues, and the most used venue that we use is schools actually. So in particular, I look for scripts that are versatile, that can be used in many different ways, and I also ask myself the question, and to the writer, why do we write? What's the reason for writing at all? And to me, it's it has to do with the need to connect with people, the need to why do we tell stories at all? It's to sort of it's our need for interaction, and it's even bigger. It's actually the meaning of life itself, because without people, there are no reason for other people to exist. Really, we are the only thing we have, each other. and a good dramatic text, in my opinion, addresses that fact in an entertaining way, in surprising ways, with use of perhaps new techniques, with an open mind, and above all, not with few restrictions for the instructor and for the actors. So, well, that was a big answer maybe, but it was a big question, so there you go.
Talking about scripts and how to write scripts, if we could move on to puppet theatre.
Yes.
You worked as an actor and as a puppeteer.
Yes, I did, for many years.
For many years. So what if there's a writer out there who's curious and interested in starting to write for a puppet theatre production, are there any particular things that they need to be aware of or to think of in that process?
Well, actually, I would like to say no, actually, because this is a question I've been asked many times, and actually anything that has been written for actors as such can be performed with puppets, and why not? Because you don't ask the question the opposite way around. You don't ask how do you do it when you want to write for real actors? Because in my opinion, there aren't so many things that a puppet can't do that an actor can do. Sometimes we refer to that the puppets they don't talk well, but they do. I mean, Muppet Show, whatever. There are many different kind of puppets. The wonderful thing about puppets is that they don't have an inner life, so they don't stand in the way for the role that they play like actors do. So it's a wonderful thing, you know. It's a mean to express and to give the subtext totally to the audience, because it's not owned by someone with an inner life on stage who sort of tries to play a role, but really plays him or herself, which is always a problem with actors, that they get too obsessed on stage. Puppets don't do that. So I think that any play that is written for actors can be performed by puppets. But of course, like in any kind of theatre, go watch puppet theatre and see for yourself. There are, of course, things that puppets can do that actors can't do.
you think it's important to utilize those opportunities?
Actually, yes, of course, because it is a technique. It has an aesthetic value, and there are. If we go into the theory of it, we can talk about the semiotics of puppets, the basic idea what a puppet is, and how it sort of conveys meaning, things like that. But when it in the end, it's all about the value of the text, not so much of the technique you use to express it. Because you wouldn't ask me the same question if it was about dancers, for instance. But said that puppets tend to be more physical. This tends to be more expressive than actors when it comes to movement. There is a mime aesthetic that can be used on puppets with great results. I have, in particular, I've been fond of the cross ideas in mime, which puppets can be easily adapted to, and can sort of transmit or give away feelings on a very subtle level.
Do you? I often hear people recommending that playwrights take acting classes to become better playwrights. Do you think that somebody wanting to write for puppet theatre should do a puppet theatre course? Should actually move the puppets themselves and learn at least the basic of that technique?
Yeah, that might be a good idea. I think any actor should take a puppet theatre course as a mean to sort of to realize that whatever you feel inside yourself is of less importance than you think. It's less important than you think because it's as an actor you're used to work with subtext, you're used to work with your inner life as a resource when interpreting a role. But if you ask a puppet, I don't care whether he thinks about his old grandmother or fish and chips or whatever. It's only movement, and the expression is great. And so I think actors could actually be trained and learn a lot by performing puppets and perhaps behave a little bit more like them.
Over to something else, which is Norwegian theatre. I'm just wondering what your opinion is as an artistic director on the state of Norwegian theatre for young audiences. Where are we today? And particularly, perhaps, where are we in terms of the new writing for young audiences?
Well, when it comes to the big stages, there is the commercial value of the shows, which is the most important thing because you need to attract the audiences. So on the big stages there aren't much to be said, I think, because we normally tend to repeat ourselves. We're doing whatever it is, Roald Dahl, Astrid Lindgren, things that we feel can attract a wide audience. When it comes to the smaller stages, and in particular in schools, there's a lot of devised work being done when talking about young audiences, and some of it is actually very good and doesn't land in the script. There is no library. You can go and get the script, actually. You have to see the play, which emphasizes the here and now thing about theatre. But I think some groups do great work for children and invest a lot of resources in meeting their audiences, in creating shows with great value, with great artistic value, with a lot of qualities which I think sort of paints a bright future. On the other hand, the problem is that some of the groups are motivated by economics in what they do. They seek the young audience because that's where the money gets, that's where the funding is. So they tend to start to work for young audiences and with young audiences, not because they really want to do that, because they want to use it as a trampoline to get somewhere else. Because, as adults we aren't sort of, what's the word again? We're not really You have to help me here, Øystein. Bekreftet.
Oh, confirmed? Or?
Yeah, we're not really confirmed by children. We don't, whatever we get from children, we can't use it for anything. It's adults who sort of lifts us up and show us to the world. And actors tend to, some actors at least, tend not to be interested in young audiences because they aren't they don't tell the stories afterwards. And but in general, I think writing for young audiences and the work that has been done is it's some of it is very good, some of it is really bad. But I'm hopeful. I read a lot of good things. Unfortunately, I can't do everything. But it's the state of writing for young audiences is, I would say, quite good actually. Yeah.
Wonderful. On that positive note, I just want to say thank you for participating in this interview.
Yeah, and thank you.